Todd Archer has a story about Micah Parsons and what Dan Quinn is saying they're working on with him with a month to go till camp. The pass rushing part of him, he's really picked up where he left off, but DQ says he really has good speed off the edge. That part of the game is intact. Now we're working on behind the ball, man-to-man, playing zone, blitzing from off the ball. Those are the things we can feature and assess. So my question for you, will Micah Parsons be more of a star or a rookie project in year one? Gentlemen, you have the floor.
I guess are those my only two options? I can't in between this thing.
Yeah, I wanted to pick the extremes.
I will go star over project because I think he's one of those, like Giannis in the NBA. He doesn't necessarily have all the NBA skills, but he's bigger, stronger, faster.
Paints the picture.
Like Micah Parsons is that of linebackers, where maybe I didn't read my key correctly, and maybe I should have taken on that block instead of going around it. But I'll be damned if I'm not faster, quicker, more flexible, and just kind of able to get there. So it's encouraging to hear that they are talking about the drops and the coverage and stuff like that, because I think that's the part of the game that'll have questions. His physical talent, if he plays a lot of snaps, is going to get 120 tackles and force 5 fumbles. Like, he'll do that on instinct and his physical gifts alone. So
Sounds like a star to me.
I'll go star over, what was it, project?
Yes, sir.
I'll go star.
Yeah, I was immediately gonna say the star aspect of it. I think Jeff painted an excellent picture of what he is. This kid's got so much ability, and a lot of it is, I think, kind of untapped. They're going to figure out ways to get him involved. We've seen him on the tape with Penn State. They ran twist games in front. He was able to come free. I watched him blow past Ty and Siki the other day in a practice, and it hurt. He went past him so fast, it hurt in Siki, and I'm like, wow. And he didn't even touch him. He just went by him so fast. So I think that he's got that nose for the ball. I think he's got the athletic ability. I think he's got the power. I think he's got the strength. They're going to find ways to get him involved in a lot of different ways. So I'm just going to say he's got a chance to be a star.
All right, the questions are coming in via text, and here's a good one. I told you they had better ones than I did. Is Kellen Moore possibly gone after this year if we don't pass the first round of the playoffs?
No. You know what's more likely? It's more likely Kellen Moore is your head coach if you don't go past the first round of the playoffs, and then he's gone.
He is very popular with Jerry and Dak.
How's that for a take?
I like it.
I think that I think that so far, I'm a believer in Kellen Moore. He's good at his job. With no head coach experience, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they would do a search. Maybe they would be Dan Quinn. But I think it's more likely, if the Cowboys come up short, that Kellen Moore is your head coach than that he's gone.
I think there's some questions there. And I'll say this in a way that because there's so much, so many eyes on what the offense could be. And if they go out there and fail this year because the offense doesn't perform like it needs to perform, then maybe if Mike McCarthy is still here, that might be a new coach and a whole new staff again. But if they don't perform like we all believe they can perform, I think there's going to be some questions about that. And so I wouldn't say that would be out of the question if it turns into a bust. And the offense is a reason why they're not winning games because they're not doing things that we thought they could do. I think he'll be on the hot seat for that reason.
And Mike McCarthy would take play calling duties at some point if they struggle offensively.
Mike McCarthy, if all of a sudden the offense isn't doing what it needs to do, and then he feels like that he has to try and save his job. We've seen head coaches do this before. If he could see the writing on the wall, again, this is a long shot, I think. But I'm not going to completely rule that out if they have a bad run.
All right. For the 254, why do the Cowboys value the offensive line so much but devalue up the middle on defense? Is there a happy medium, or do you think they have the right approach? That's James. You got to choose where you want to put your eggs.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, and it's a Jerry Jones thing that might drive you nuts. But you can't have everything. Unless you're the best drafting team in the history of the league for like 3 or 4 years in a row, you're not going to have everything. And the fact that they err on the side of offense with their assets, good. I like that. Problem is if you're not doing as good a job as the best teams are at building a team, eventually your offense is going to run into a team that has a good offense and a better defense than you, and you're going to lose in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm a believer in my assets are going to the quarterback, the people who protect the quarterback, and the people that the quarterback throws to. That is what is going to determine how many games you win. And then you're going to run into another team that can do all those things too. And hopefully you have a defense that can keep up with theirs.
Yeah, I don't know what you consider not valuing, because Tristan Hill was a second-round pick. Gallimore was a third. Odighizuwa was a third. Golston, who's going to play defensive end, defensive tackle, was a third-round pick. You know, I mean,
Tank was a 2, and he gets a bunch of money now.
Yeah, exactly. To me, I was just focusing on the defensive tackles.
Oh, okay.
You know, but Quentin Bohanna could be a starter. I think that you're going to see with Urban is probably going to get more playing time. Bohanna was a 6th-round pick. I get that. But I think because he was probably a 6th-round pick, because a lot of people are like, we don't need that size of a guy. But they've invested a 2nd and 3 threes in defensive tackles.
It's not ones, but Micah Parsons was a 1. And majority of those guys are still pass rushers.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is Lawrence is okay. If you just go overall defense, Lawrence is a 2. I mentioned Parsons was a 1. Randy Gregory was a 2. Jalen Smith was a 2. Joseph was a 2. Wilson was a 6. Trayvon Diggs was a 2. Jordan Lewis was a 3. That's pretty significant draft allocation for defensive players. I mean, and they haven't. Sure, they've drafted offensive tackles, but that's where the board told them to take at that time. They tried to draft Ryan Shazier during the Zach Martin draft. They tried to pick, and he was to Pittsburgh the pick before.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Took the next best guy.